By the time an outcome becomes visible, it was already decided. Not by effort, not by talent, but by words, usually spoken casually, often without intention. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Words don't just express ideas. They establish the frame. Everything else happens inside. Once the frame is set, the outcome rarely changes. Let me show you how this works in real life. Think about a meeting you've been in. Two people propose similar ideas. One says, "I was thinking maybe we could explore something like this." The other says, "This is the direction we should move in." Same idea, different outcome. One gets discussed, the other gets decided. Why? Because before anyone evaluates logic, they evaluate position. Words tell people whether you're leading, contributing, asking, or apologizing for existing. That judgment happens instantly. Now notice something important. People don't respond to what you mean. They respond to what your words signal. Certainty, hesitation, authority, deference. Those signals shape reactions before content even lands. That's why you can be right and still lose. Now take this into everyday conversation. Have you ever started a sentence with, "I don't want to sound difficult, but..." You just gave away leverage. Not because of what came next, but because you framed yourself as a problem before anyone challenged you. Words don't just share thoughts, they assign roles. And once roles are assigned, people act accordingly. Now look at conflict. Why do some people always end up explaining themselves? Because their words invite interrogation. They overqualify, they overcontextualize, they narrate instead of state. And the more you explain, the more authority you surrender, because explanation signals uncertainty, even when you're correct. Now, here's the part most people miss. Words don't just affect how others treat you. They affect how you experience yourself. The language you use internally shapes your posture, tone, and confidence externally. Say, "I'll try to do this," versus "I'll do this." One keeps an exit open, the other closes it. Your nervous system feels the difference. Closed exits create commitment. Open exits invite hesitation. Now think about boundaries. Compare, "I'd prefer if you didn't do that," versus "That doesn't work for me." Same boundary, different outcome. One invites negotiation, the other defines reality. Words decide how much room people think they have with you. Now let's make this uncomfortable. Think about moments that didn't go your way. The promotion that slipped, the boundary that wasn't respected, the deal that stalled, the relationship dynamic that tilted against you. Very often, the outcome wasn't decided at the end. It was decided early, by how you positioned yourself with words. You didn't lose because you were wrong. You lost because you spoke like an option instead of a decision. Now here's the shift strong people make. They don't speak more, they speak cleaner. They remove unnecessary apologies. They stop pre-explaining fear. They stop cushioning statements that don't need cushioning. They let silence do some of the work. They understand this rule. Every sentence either raises, lowers, or maintains your position. There is no neutral language. Now pause and look inward. How often do you soften your words before anyone challenges you? How often do you explain when a statement would have been enough? How often do you leave exits open you don't actually want to take? That's not politeness, that's self-protection masquerading as humility, and it quietly costs you outcomes. So remember this. Words don't just communicate ideas, they set expectations. They define roles. They shape how reality responds to you. By the time actions arrive, the outcome has usually already been decided by the language that came first. This was why words decide outcomes. Stay sharp.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this sparked a new way of thinking, hit like and subscribe to keep the ideas flowing. And don't forget, check the description for the links to the original books and resources we used today. We'll see you in the next one.